From the studios of KAMC Television in Lubbock, your local election headquarters. This is Talking Points.
Thanks for joining us. Also this week, families of Lubbock, Cooper, and Slayton schools asking the federal government to investigate their claims of civil rights violations within the districts. Parents are demanding accountability from district leaders after students say they've been bullied almost daily at Laura Bush Middle School with things like racial slurs. Reports as far back as April include an Instagram page called LBMS Monkeys with pictures of black students. And a black student in Slayton says she was accused of using marijuana when a school nurse found glowing specks on her face using a black light. Since these families claim they still haven't heard or seen enough from administrators, they decided to file the federal complaint under the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act.
It's so critical to note that these parents, at least in this filing, are not coming demanding money, millions of dollars, or damages. All they're asking for is accountability and a positive change. They want school leaders to come in good faith to negotiate in order to make their school environment safe for black kids. And that's not asking too much at all. And so we're hopeful that the Department of Education will help facilitate that resolution.
Slayton ISD released a statement in response to those federal complaints filed, saying in part, quote, Slayton ISD is working diligently to prevent all forms of discrimination and harassment and will continue to do so. Lubbock Cooper also issuing a statement saying in part, quote, racism has no place at any school within Lubbock Cooper ISD. It is not a reflection of our beliefs as a school, and it completely contradicts the virtues we wish to instill in our students. It is not now and has never been and will not ever be who we are.
And I have joining me now Mayor Trey Payne. Now this is a first for me, but there's going to be many firsts for me because I'm new to Talking Points, but you are not new to Talking Points.
No way.
No way. A seasoned professional. So I guess my first question for you is just to ask you, we haven't talked since you got the mayor role. So have there been any surprises since you've last been on this desk?
No surprises. No, that's not true. There's been a lot of surprises. A lot of things things that you think as you go into office that will be issues, or things that you think about that really aren't, and things that you completely catch you out of left field, and you're going, okay, I didn't think that would be something I would have to worry about or address. But it's been really good. Great staff, great people to work with at the city, and so it's been a great transition as we brought in a new council, a relatively, majority new council. I think it's been a good transition.
Yeah, I mean, in the same way that a basketball team changes from year to year, you have some turnover, things change, but I know that a lot of energy went into the street bond, so maybe we start there, because that was, I mean, we'd consider it a victory for the council, something that was pushing for that street bond. We're a few weeks removed now from that. Yeah. So, I mean, after you take a breath, what does it look like now?
I'm really excited about it. I think it was a big victory for our city. It was needed. We have to address future growth. We have to stay ahead of it. There had not been anything passed since 2009 of this magnitude, and this is going to take care of some where schools are being built. Areas where it's a public safety issue, and just quality of life for our citizens. And when people come in from other communities to spend their dollars in the city of Lubbock, we want them to have good streets and roads. That's where we get our sales tax. And so there's so much good that comes from that. One of the things that I think was really important was having the Citizens Advisory Committee to come in and talk about it, and plan it and help us get that out. We had an incredible group that put a PAC together that raised money and put out flyers and mailers and commercials and websites. Yeah. Just, I don't know how many talks that we gave in groups and community groups we talked to about it, and I was just really, really pleased with the team effort put forth by the council and all the people involved.
Do you think that Citizens Committee was the thing that pushed it over the edge? Because I know it was a similar package that was tried to pass last time.
It just helps because they help you educate, and they help you say, look, this is what people have looked at collectively, as opposed to just, the council looking at it and saying this is what we want. And they made recommendations. Not everyone agreed with all the recommendations. There are still streets and roads that we have to address in the future, and we have to find out ways to address those problems. But all in all, we got 22 miles versus 11 miles. We have, pretty much the same cost to the citizen per person on average. And so I'm really, really excited about it. And the goal here too, moving forward, is we want them to see our effort that we want them to see fruits of what they've passed. And so 2023, I mean, we're hitting the ground running, and we will have streets and roads being worked on and starting to be built in 23.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And speaking of growth and infrastructure that can support that growth, a very recent new development that the city of Lubbock is now selling water to Wolfforth. Is that something that needs to be revisited when we're growing exponentially every single year? Is that something we should be concerned about?
Well, I mean, what you have to understand is we are so good with water. And one of the things I didn't know when I was running for office as much until I started getting into this is how strong we are in water, and how much we have, and how much foresight previous leaders and councils have had. I mean, you go back to the 50s when Crimwall was started, and the foresight that our forefathers and the people in our community had to plan that pipeline and the water sources. And Allen Henry, we are so good and strong with water for 100 to 120 years. And when you know that you're good and strong, you just have to pay attention. You have to plan for the future. That's why we look at Crimwall Line 2, and we look at Lake Sevens and things, so we can have the foresight today that people had 50 years ago. And one of those things is looking where we're going to grow. And Wolfforth is our neighbor, and they have a need, and we have something we can meet. And we have a need that we can meet. And once we meet that need, I think it'll help moving forward. We'll be able to take some of their affluent water and resources, and we'll be able to grow together as a community.
Yeah, and is growth something that you're seeing affect your decisions right now, or is this just something you're seeing in 10 years?
No, I think growth is affecting us. We have a lot of conversations on council about what we're going to do as far as annexation. You know, people want to come in. You know, it's not the old days of a city just says we're going to take that, you know, that acreage. You know, there's a process now, and it's not an eminent domain type taking. And so growth is an issue we have to look at going forward, because we're booming still.
Yeah, and let's talk now. You know, we've talked infrastructure just a tad, but let's talk a little bit of crime, law enforcement, and courts. Tyler Technologies, and you've used a different term for that. There's a large movement. We're headed to a new system that can cause bumps in the road, but you're very confident that that is going to be a good thing.
Well, I think this new program that we're going into, this new model that we have, and the software that is going to be implemented here over this next year is going to be really make us more efficient. Okay. You know, one of the things I talk about a lot is efficiency in government. I know that's kind of an oxymoron sometimes about whether government can be efficient. But this new program will help our officers. It will help them be more efficient in the data entry. It will help be more efficient in reports and how the data can be controlled. And another big thing about this as we go into the future is this will help us in the future development as far as crime studies and crime analysis. Because when we bring in new technology, this gives us the conduit to move into future technology to do more identifying police work. So you may have opportunities to look at really more high-tech crime fighting in the future, and this will help us as we move forward. So it's foresight, and it's looking forward, and we have to do it now because we haven't had really good software and updates in 20 years.
Yeah, this could change a lot for especially crime analysis, like you said. Absolutely. Well, the city of Lubbock sees big things coming, what that's doing for jobs in the hub city, and are we ready?